I am here celebrating the 50th anniversary of girls track and field in Texas with two legends of the sport. And I'm going to give them a moment to introduce themselves. So if you could, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'm Joanne Scott. I'm 67 years old. I'm a retired from Dow Chemical. I married, three kids, and three grandkids. I'm sorry, four grandkids. Boy, they look like that.
Okay, and I'm Darlene Sanders. Retired from teaching. I taught 40 years in education. I'm 68 years old, and I have three children and four grandchildren, four girls. And I've just been out of school, retired in 2016, like I said, after 40 years. And I taught elementary and I taught high school. I coached high school basketball a few years, but I never got into coaching track.
Now that's interesting because Darlene, and I'm going to throw the first question out to you that you never got interested in coaching track because let's go back to UIL's first year where girls competed for individual and team championships, and that's 1972. And on the what is then known as West Columbia, now Columbia, on the West Columbia High School team, you win four gold medals and a team championship. You're the high point girl of the first ever meet. You scored 35 points. What memories do you have of that 1972 meet?
Well, the memories that I have during that meet as now, I was, I was just 17 and I loved track. I wanted to run track. And I thought that, by me competing, maybe I would have an opportunity to get a scholarship in track and go on and pursue my education, using the scholarship because at that time my parents was not able to send me to college. So I thought that with the scholarship, if I got a scholarship, then I would have a way of going to school to earn an education. And I remember that years back there, I was happy, that I won, elated, I was overjoyed. It seemed like I was on top of the world. Back then, and especially when I stood on a platform and they acknowledged that I had won the high girl trophy. I was just astonished and oh gosh, I was overjoyed. I was happy that we were able to do that. It only took four girls. Four of us went to the state, and we four girls, we won the state with just four girls. I had um, earned four gold medals. I did have another opportunity because I also qualified in triple jump.
Hmm.
But for some reason that year, I was not able to hit the board or do anything in triple jump. So instead of coming home with five gold medals, I came home with four gold medals. But it was something that I just couldn't explain. I was overwhelmed. I was so happy. Most so not just uh, because of me, I was happy that we won the first track meet in 1972, and it took just four girls to do that. So I was overjoyed for our whole team.
Now you won the 60-yard dash, the 80-yard hurdles, um, long jump, 18 feet 3.5 inches, part of the 440 relay. Which was your favorite event?
Oh, my favorite event was the hurdles. I started hurdles, I think, when I was a junior, and I had never gotten beat in the hurdles, never been beat in my whole life. Starting my junior year. My coach, it was raining and we were not able to participate on the track. So she took a broom and I don't know how she did it, but she tied it together some way and made a hurdle for me in the gym. And so I started practicing over the hurdles, and she started correcting how I should jump and how many steps I need to get in between those hurdles, and make sure that when I bring my leg over that it clear the hurdle barely, not to glide in the air, because when you glide in the air, you lose the seconds. So she taught me that in how to do that when I was a junior in the gym. And I started it. And like I said, I've never ever lost that race. Never. One time I had finished and I thought I had crossed the finish line, and I heard my coach holler, Darlene, you didn't finish. So I took off to finish, and I still beat them. I still beat the girls that I competed to. So that was my most rewarding my most rewarding experience was with the 80-yard low hurdles.
All right, Joanne, can you give us some insight into what is now known as the Triple Threat Sisters?
Yes, Stuart, nothing can be more important than having three sisters participating at the same school, all three of us together. And it was just an honor. We were good enough to participate. And this is sort of rare that you find three
Hmm.
sisters or three people on the same team. And most of all, not bragging, but we were really good. And I was just elated to have my two big sisters on the team with me. And everybody was talking about the Columbia threats. And that was just amazing. I remember we were getting ready to go to Brazos Port. Darlene, what was that for the regional meet? It was some
Yeah, I
meet.
think it
And
was.
that's how we got our name, but it was in the paper. The triple threat is coming. The triple Thomas, well, the Thomas girls are coming. And, that was for a long time, that was the talk of the town, the Thomas threats.
Well, it was real successful. Obviously, I mean
Yeah.
there were not only state records in relays, there were national records as well.
Right, right. And, it was just 2 years separating our age, 15, 16, and 17.
Hmm.
You know, like I said, that was just rare. It was just nothing can be more important than having three people on
And
the same team.
And starting from a freshman, each one of us, we always went to state and track, always, except you're talking about the UIL, but before then it was in
Hmm.
Abilene. And we set records and won over there too. It was three of us. And like I said, my oldest sister, she started going to state in track when she was a freshman every year. I started in a freshman every year, and then Joanne started when she was a freshman. We never missed going to state in track. We always went to state in track. I'm not saying that we won it all the time, because we had second leg, second, third, and fourth. We didn't have that first leg. Now, if we had another sister that was the first leg, we might would have won the state, but we didn't have that other leg.
Yeah.
So, we didn't win all the time. But, like I said, it was astonished when we just took four of us and we went to Austin and won the first track meet. So, that was very rewarding to us.
What other sports did the three of you play when y'all were growing up?
No sports. I didn't.
You mean in school or not in school?
Either.
Oh, well, yeah, we played basketball.
Yeah.
I played
Yes, basketball.
basketball, and that was my love to basketball. I was the shortest one on the team, and I could out jump anybody on the team. Like I said, I was only like, when I did the running jump, I was like 5'2", and I out jumped those girls. It's just that, we had the leap ability. Of course, I made the varsity a team when I was a freshman in high school. I
Hmm.
made the varsity team on basketball also. So, I love basketball, and then I also love track.
It's different today. Back today, you have the kids playing softball. They have summer track. But when we were
Hmm.
coming up, we didn't have that. The only thing we had really was when we went to grade school. But like they have the Pee Wee League, and then they have the what's that? The kids do, Darlene. The oh, softball, running track, soccer, all of those different things they have now. We
Right.
didn't have that when we were coming up. So outside of high school, we didn't participate or, have any other sports or anything, unless it was like on a holiday where the family got together and played a little softball or something like that.
Right. All the AAU and USATF. And
Yeah.
I understand. Tell us about your coach, Coach Nippling Peel.
Darling, you want to say first?
You can share.
She was a great coach. She taught us discipline, and one thing about her was, I don't care how good you are, how good you think you are, if you didn't have the right attitude, the respect, and all of that, then you couldn't play for her. I never would forget, even in basketball, I thought I was the best player, and I was good. But the referee made a bad call, and
To her.
yeah, made a bad call on me. And I just kind of was a little ugly about it. And she said, you come sit here right by me. Okay. She didn't let me play. I don't care if it costs us to lose the game or whatever. She would not let you play until you learn or you can be well disciplined yourself. So, she was really good about that. She was a good coach. She was a great coach. She was respectful. She was honest, and and she was fair. You couldn't ask for a better person.
Mm.
She cared about us, and we knew that she cared about us. She didn't pretend. She really treated us like we were family to her. And when she could do something special for us, she did it for us. So, it was just really good to be coached by her because you could tell that she loved you. We ran and we did sports, and like she told us, and she told the papers that she had been coaching for 14 years. Was that it?
Yeah,
But
14
when we
years.
came through, that we were the best athletes that she ever had. And she took time with us. She let us know how much she cared for us. So when she cared for us, we enjoy winning for her. We
Hmm.
we return that back for her. She loved us. We loved winning. So we kept each other going.
Now, both of you mentioned you have children. You also have grandchildren. Are any of your
No.
grandchildren involved in track?
None of my children, I had three children, two girls and a son.
Hmm.
And none of them. My son kind of ran track a little, but he was kind of handicapped and he could just do so much. So was not able to do a lot. But my other two daughters, no, they didn't like sports. And Joanne had two girls, and my other sister Doris had a girl. So we had a relay team, but we could not convince them to run like we did in school.
You
They
finally got that first leg.
Yeah,
we did. We had those four girls, and they would not run. So no, they did not. Mine did not want to participate
mine
in
didn't.
track, and Joanne's didn't, and Doris, my other older sister,
Hmm.
she didn't want to
But she
participate
played
in track.
softball.
She
Okay.
played
Softball.
softball, but not track. We just thought, I thought that when I had children, boy, I would get to see some of Darlene and those children. I could sit back and say, oh, look at that. She got that from her. But I wasn't able to say, oh, she got that from me. So, we didn't get that. My grandchildren, they came up, but they did not like to run track. They played softball in school and played a little basketball. But and I had four girls, but it was an age difference between them. They could not have made up the track team, but they didn't run track either. Like I said, they love basketball. They played basketball and they played um, softball. But as far as getting out there and having talent and running, they didn't choose to do that.
Gotcha. For today's female athletes, compared to when you were competing in the 1970s, what advice, be it sports or life in general, from your experience, what advice would you give today's girls?
to get all that they can out of it. If they get enough to get a scholarship, do so
Mhm.
and use it to your advantage and get all the education that you can get.
And you can accomplish any goal that you really set to your mind to if you work hard and continue to practice and practice and practice. You can do whatever you really want to. It may take you longer on some things, but you can be successful if your heart is there. If you're doing it because something that you really love, then you work hard at it to be successful.
That's perfect advice for a lot of the kids today, and I certainly appreciate it, and I know they will too. I'm going to ask you one more thing, and it was on the in the email that I sent to you. So I'm going to ask you if you can say it with me that we're celebrating 50 years of girls track and field in the state of Texas.
This is a milestone. Very good that this is happening. Um, although there are still some discrepancies
Mm-hmm.
in the male versus the female athlete. The male are funded. They're funded pretty good, but the female, we hadn't gotten there yet, and that kind of needs to change. And this is maybe where you can kind of help um, you with what the Texas track coach. What do
Mm-hmm.
you?
Texas
Okay.
Track and Field Coaches Association.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a milestone, man. It's good news to sit back and look back over 50 years, what accomplishments and what has happened. And then, like I said again, it's just that there's some discrepancies versus the male athlete and the
Mm-hmm.
female.
And I recall when I used to go to the basketball tournament, state basketball tournament in Austin, they would always call the teams or the players that won championship. They would always go out on the floor and they would acknowledge them and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder why track didn't have that. Why didn't we have it where we could return back to Austin and they said, "This is Darlene Thomas and she said this and she said that," and they would have a team number in the UIL basketball book saying that the track meet won the first year in 1972 was won by West Columbia, but they never did acknowledge us, never did call us back. And I couldn't understand why they did basketball, but they just overlooked track. We were never able to go when they had track meet. We were never able to be acknowledged that this is a team that won the state in 1972, our very first track meet. And I I was just kind of disappointed in that they acknowledged the basketball, all the players
Football.
every year, and I don't know about football. I'm saying basketball
Mm.
because I went,
Mm-hmm.
but they never acknowledged the track stars. So that was kind of disappointing to me.
Well, we're hoping to change some of that,
Okay,
Okay.
which is why we have you on our screen today. So
Okay.
let me ask you one more question before we wrap this up. You competed in 1972, and like you mentioned, your coach put together with whatever contraption and a broom creating some hurdles. And all of a sudden, over the last 50 years, and it will happen again over the next 50 years, the technology gets better, the equipment gets better, the training, nutrition, etc. Do you ever think to yourself, wow, if I were competing today, I would own the track world?
yeah, and and as I was saying, I did Prairie View, I used to come home and the coach would be sitting on my parents' step waiting for me to get off the bus, wanting to talk to me. They wanted to give me the scholarship because Barbara Jacket at that time, she said,
Mm-hmm.
"Darlene, I've been reading this and I'm going to try to train you and get you ready so you can go to the Olympics." And I think that probably scared me half to death to go to the Olympics, to leave my parents or whatever. And I didn't leave home to go. I didn't, even though I got the track scholarships. I guess I was old school and I was didn't want to leave my parents and take those track scholarships or take the scholarships and leave and go further in life. I just didn't go.
You went to Prairie View, did you?
I went to Prairie View, but I didn't run track. And even after I went to Warden County Junior College for 2 years after I stayed home with my mother. I didn't really practice running track there, but when I transferred to Prairie View 2 years later, Barbara Jacket was still asking me, Darlene, you never run track for me. And I kept saying, oh, I'm out of shape now. I haven't run it, in 2 years. And she kept asking me and asking me. And, I kind of regret that. I wish my parents at that time would have said, Darlene, no, you have a scholarship. You're going to go and run track. But, they were older and they gave me a choice to do what I want to do. And I guess I took the easy way out. And I have regrets on that.
I understand. Darlene,
Mm-hmm.
Joanne, I certainly appreciate you taking 20 minutes out of your day to relive some memories and talk with us a little bit and helping us to really kickstart our celebration of 50 years of girls competing in track and field in the state of Texas with UIL.
Okay, it's
And,
nice,
and I
nice
want to
talking with
thank you
you.
for giving us the opportunity to share some of our members with you. You found it important to contact us and let us know how interested you were in finding out what happened during the first year that we went to state. And I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to share this with you because, like I said back then, it was very rewarding for us. It's just words couldn't explain. You don't like on top of the world. You get up there and our coach said, hey, I think we got this. She said, we have 60 points and the other team behind us have 62, but they have nobody else that can enter anything. So therefore, they will not be able to pass us. And she said, I think we got it. We're going to win. So that was very rewarding. She was happy and we all were happy also. And then the next year, my sister went to her, Joanne went in 63, I mean in 73, and they lost by 2 points. They
Oh,
had 40, and the other team had 42 points.
But we only had 4 girls and they had at least 6 or 7, so I don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah. So she had Miss Knipp was blessed to have a good track team from 72 all the way through, I think was it 75?
Yeah, 75.
Yeah.
75. She went to state, all some of the girls over there set national records also. So she had a rewarding coaching experience in track also.
no doubt about it.
Mhm. Okay.
Now, Stuart, before you go, tell me again, now, what are you going to do with this information? We're celebrating 50 years. What do you plan to do?
We're going to release these videos through our social media and promote starting in February right through the beginning of the state meet that this is the 50th anniversary
Oh, okay.
of girls competing in track and field in the state of Texas, in particular under the UIL umbrella, since they're really the dominant conference in the nation.
Okay.
And you know as well as I that Texas high school track and field,
Yes,
it doesn't get any better.
that's true. That's true. Again, thank you for interviewing us, Stuart, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate both of you giving of your time this evening.
Okay.
All
It
right.
was well worth it.
Thank you, ladies.
All right.
Okay,
Have a
thank
pleasant
you.
evening.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.